Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. I'm Mark Nuce. Thanks so much for joining us today. With us is our friend from the Ohio Insurance Institute, Mary Bonelli. And Mary, thanks for stopping by.
Mark, it is a pleasure to be here.
Boy, I tell you what, it is storm season in central Ohio. This is the time of year we have to start thinking about those severe weather incidents that we have, and insurance can be a big part of that. It can ease your mind in case you do have a storm and some storm damage. So what are the things that homeowners need to be thinking about this time of year?
Well, I think this is an ideal time to be looking outside. Step outside, take a look up at your roof, your gutters, and the perimeter of your home, because of the fact that we get a lot of wind and rain at this time of year. You're going to find that there's a possibility over the winter time, or even from last fall or last summer, you may have had some roofing issues that need to be addressed. You may need to get those gutters cleaned out again, your downspouts, and to make sure that if your water is not going away from your home, you need to take a look at the grading around your property as well. These are things that are simple homeowner maintenance issues and will go a long way into protecting your most valuable investment.
As far as insurance goes, are there any things that, obviously if there's a windstorm, wind damage is covered, things like that. Are there any things that aren't covered that we need to think about maybe getting extra coverage for? Well,
one of the things that is changing a little bit, and it depends on your insurance company, windstorm damage has been going up and up and up every year. And there are some companies that are offering different types of savings programs for homeowners insurance. Some of them are looking at percentage deductibles for windstorms, maybe 2% of your coverage, or you can go up to even a higher percentage, up to 5 or so, and that will save you money on the premium side instead of using just your standard deductible. Mm-hmm. Deductibles are going up too. I mean, people are looking, the standard $500 deductible for home or $250 for auto. They don't really cut it anymore. Most consumers are looking at a $500 or more deductible on auto, and even $1,000 to $2,000 deductible on the home side. That means that you're paying for that amount of your loss before your insurance kicks in. That saves you money. When you're looking at coverages, if you happen to live in a flood-prone area, you really should be looking at flood insurance. I mean, we're looking at what's happening down in the Texas area right now, Houston.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. And so even where you don't think you may not, even in areas where you may not be prone to flooding, if you have that type of torrential rain, flooding occurs and damages are just, these are not covered by your standard homeowner's policy.
Do you have to be in a certain area to buy flood insurance?
You do not have to be you don't have to be in a floodplain to get flood insurance. In fact, if you don't live in a floodplain, your premiums are less. Mm-hmm. If you live in a floodplain, you may be required to have flood insurance as part of your mortgage payment. So, it's just worth looking into, and it's very easy to go online to look at flood insurance. To look at flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program, and you can even plug in your address, and they'll tell you how much it costs.
Oh, that works out pretty well.
Yeah, you can just get an idea of what you'd be looking at. It's very easy. It's a really consumer-friendly website.
And I know, obviously, if you have severe damage to your home, you'll have to find some place to live. And I know you can get insurance for additional living expenses.
That additional living expenses is actually part of most standard homeowners policies. Mm-hmm. And it's a wonderful tool to have and know that you have should you be forced out of your home because of fire or severe damage. A tree falls on your house, can't live there for a while. This will cover your lodging, your food, and other expenses that you normally would not have if you were able to reside in your home. The other type of coverage I would suggest is if you worry about your car, okay? Mm-hmm. And oftentimes people will drop their, other than collision coverage, which also and that's or it's also called comprehensive coverage, depending
Sure.
on what you want to call it. I advise you to look at that seriously because of the fact that if you have it, and there is a major storm, wind, hail, flood, those are the types of things that are covered under comprehensive coverage, and it only runs $30 to $50 a year.
Mary Bonelli is here from the Ohio Insurance Institute. And Mary, before we go any further, I know you have a website and there's a blog and everything, just like most people have all of the latest technology and everything now. Tell us where people can find more information about insurance through the Ohio Insurance Institute.
We've got a load of information out there, a lot of information for consumers, ohioinsurance.org. Search engines on there. We've got pages and pages of safety issues related to auto and home and even business.
And let's talk a little bit about auto insurance for a minute. How does Ohio stack up right now with other parts of the country when it comes to auto insurance rates?
Well, you may not necessarily know this looking at your own insurance premium, but if you happen to live out of state and you came into Ohio, you will be really happy with the premiums that you're seeing on both your auto and your home side. Auto insurance premiums here in Ohio, based on a comparison with the national average, we're 12th lowest in the country. And our average premium is about 28% less than the U.S. average, at $659 versus $841. So there's a substantial savings on your average auto insurance premium here in Ohio. It's good stuff.
What impacts those rates? What makes Ohio's rates lower? Does it have anything to do with regulation, or are we better drivers, or how does that work?
I wish we could say we're better drivers. Actually, the statistics are showing that we're having a few more crashes than we used to. A lot more people were on the roadways because of the wonderful economy and the cost of gasoline. So when you have more drivers on the road, the chances are that there are going to be more crashes. What is causing, or what has created this affordable environment for both auto and homeowners insurance in Ohio, as you said, it is partly regulation, meaning that there are more companies writing auto and homeowners insurance in Ohio than most states. There's only 2 or 3 states with more writers of both product lines. And when you have that type of competition, it helps to keep the costs more affordable for consumers. And if a consumer is interested in looking at other alternatives for their coverages, there's plenty out there as well. The other points that they keep the premiums low, I would say that it's individuals. I mean, insurance right now, because of technology, you almost have an individualized policy based on your driving record, your car, where you live. Everything is so streamlined now that we can really determine the actual cost of your policy and not really depending on everybody else.
I know recently I had some changes in mine, and they sent me one of those little devices to put on my car that measured, how far I drove each week and what time of the day I was out driving and quick stops and things like that. And that saved us a significant amount of money.
There's these wonderful devices out there that and it's strictly voluntary right now, and that if you want to take a look at your driving habits, and if it can save you money by putting one of those types of devices on your car, I say go for it. And in most cases, by the way, it does save the consumer money.
Well, I have 2 teenagers, and as soon as the last one...
It's a scary thought.
Oh, tell me about it, yeah. As soon as the last one got her license, I had to call and get insurance right away. So I called the national number, and I talked to someone on the phone, and they got me coverage right away. But then a few days later, I followed up with a local agent, and I said, did they give me the right stuff? And he starts looking at that, and he said, well, we can save you a little bit of money here, and we can save a little here, and we can get better coverage here. So it really paid for me to talk to a local agent who had sort of my best interests at heart. And do you hear that a lot, that maybe you should talk to someone who you can really sit down and talk with and give them your situation and maybe get a little better deal?
Well, times are changing. Millennials are more computer They're more interested in just getting a quick fix on their insurance coverage, and they go online quite a bit and make decisions based on just cost. I don't recommend it. The Ohio Insurance Institute doesn't necessarily recommend this. What we recommend is exactly what you did, and that is to have a conversation with an insurance agent or company representative that you feel comfortable with. If you don't have one, ask your family and friends for referrals. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that having a relationship with your insurance company or agent will make all the world of a difference should you have a major claim. And I speak from the heart on this because I've had this experience myself in having a tree fall on my house. And I know firsthand that having an agent made all the difference in the world who advocated for me.
Yeah, it definitely does. And they can sort of be the go-between you and the company.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking online for some ideas on costs and coverages. I mean, we all do that for all,
Sure.
as a consumer today. We do this for anything we buy, pretty much. Cars, electronics, anything of that nature. The cost of insurance, it should be considered when you buy a car, for instance. Before you sign on the dotted line, think about what it's going to cost you for coverage for that car, because what you can find out there through, this is another wonderful website, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. They have on their website the cost of insurance by make and model and year. So if you're looking at two cars, you can actually compare them to see which one has if you're looking and you can't make a decision, this might be one of the drivers that helps you make that decision. It might be a cost differential in the cost of coverage.
Now, if you do have a claim, either auto or a homeowner's claim, one of the hardest things, it seems, is to find the right person to fix your problem, either to fix your car or to come out and fix your home. There are so many different companies. And, when I talk to folks from the Better Business Bureau, they say, well, some of their biggest complaints are when it comes to home repairs and things like that. So obviously, if you have a tree in the middle of your house, you have a tendency to panic a little bit. So how can your insurance agent or how can your insurance company help you find the right person that's going to fix it correctly?
Well, ultimately, whether it's a damaged home or a damaged car, it is your decision on who you use to make the repairs. It's not up to your insurance company. However, a lot of companies and agents, especially agents, have a lot of extensive experience in these types of situations and may even be able to guide you by providing you some ideas or suggestions as far as home repair services that they feel comfortable with or car repair services that they feel are reputable. But you are not obligated as a consumer to take them up on any of these. This is your decision. I found that it was a lot easier, especially in times when you are a little bit in shock about what has occurred, to make a conscientious decision on who repairs your home. And you almost, there are people that drive by. I mean, you see this, and you're going to see this in the Houston area, and you're going to see this in other the Alabama and Arkansas area where there's been a lot of tornadoes lately. You're going to see out-of-state license plates.
Sure.
Driving up and down the streets, sticking flyers in people's doors, promising them home repairs that they don't follow through on. And this happens all the time. It's on roofers. It just happens everywhere. So the Better Business Bureau is a wonderful resource that is available in regards to you doing your due diligence. If you decide to go that route and try to find your own repair service, Better Business Bureau is a wonderful place to start.
Our guest on the program today is Mary Bonelli from the Ohio Insurance Institute. And again, your website where folks can get more information?
ohioinsurance.org.
That's pretty easy to remember.
It is.
ohioinsurance.org. Mary, obviously it's that time of year to hit the road and go on vacation. Are there any special things you have to think about if you're heading out on vacation? Should you maybe check with your agent to make sure you're covered for, let's say, like a rental car or anything like that? Two
things come to mind, Mark, when I think about people going on vacation. One of them was, as you mentioned, is rental car insurance. And oftentimes you're going to find if you have a premium auto insurance policy or you have certain types of credit cards, you may